Hello, welcome. We're out here on the edge of the forest. These are the anthers on a pine tree. They're full of pollen. This pollen is often used in making flour. See that pollen come out there? It was gathered by putting a bag over it and then shaking it vigorously. And you can see it come off. That pine pollen was often used as a flour. It went with other different types of native flowers that were gathered from the landscape and from the very confines of nature itself. As you can see, this fallen pine tree that fell in the rains this year is loaded. A person would get quite a few biscuits out of these. So there's abundant food. And the anthers themselves are sometimes boiled and eaten. But I've only tried this as an addition to flowers myself. Some people make fritters of them or whatever. The inner bark of the pine has many uses. The inner bark can be used like a band-aid. It has antiseptic properties. And the oak that's compressed underneath the pine there, you see that young oak tree that was the pine tree fell on and pressed down into the creek? Well, that young oak tree there, that young oak there that's in the water, has a lot of properties too. Its bark is full of tannic acids, but the acorn of the oak tree has more protein than steak. These are the ancient foods. The pine is one of the big four. The oak is one of the big four. Cattails and grasses are your others. And so those are your big four wilderness survival foods. If you would like to get a heads up and some free goodies, there's going to be a link beneath this video where you can go to and get some good survival training, some good survival information, and some free tools. And I'll see y'all on the other side. And remember, you can only go a few days without water. So all trails lead to water, salt, and feeding areas. If you follow any animal trail, it's going to lead you to a source of salt, it's going to lead you to their feeding areas, and it's going to lead you to water, because they have to have the same things you have to do. So if you're out there in the bush and you follow deer trails around, if you stay true to the trail and not get sidetracked, all trails will eventually lead you to salt, water, and food. But you got to know that food, and you got to be able to recognize that food. So I suggest highly and recommend that you learn 100 edible plants, at least 100. Learn how to make the fire without matches, or have the equivalent gear that you can survive in case you get an unexpected hardship thrust upon you. Well, I'll see you on the other side.